In the world today, population figures keep escalating. Despite well-thought-out projects and programs to control birth rate among humans, the world presently boasts of over 6 billion inhabitants. This huge number of individuals need to be fed, clothed, sheltered, and protected against several debilitating factors. This condition certainly exerts untold pressure on Earth's natural resources. In Ghana, the situation is not different. Even though the nation is endowed with vast natural resources, including flora and fauna, these are being gradually destroyed to our doom. With a teeming population of over 24 million, our quest for survival is reducing these natural resources at an alarming rate. Consciously or otherwise, through our agricultural practices, the haste to provide modern infrastructure such as roads and housing, a lot of plants are near extinction. Coupled with these factors are industrialization, change in taste, and commercialization of agriculture, which have promoted the erosion of plant genetic resources. Apart from man-made disasters that deplete a locality of its plant genetic resources, natural disasters such as earthquakes, flooding, drought, diseases, and pest outbreak could contribute to huge losses. In such adverse circumstances, plant breeders fall on conserved materials for regeneration and to produce new varieties that are resistant to prevailing negative conditions. Science and technology, which has become the engine of economic growth and development, has contributed subtly to the depletion of most traditional plants. If not managed well, new products of research activities could push aside original varieties which can completely be forgotten about. Following the realization of this potential threat to our survival as a nation, the Plant Introduction and Exploration section of the Crops Research Institute was established in 1964. Today, it has metamorphosed into the Plant Genetic Resources Research Institute, PGRRI, strategically stationed at Bonsu in the Eastern region as one of the key institutes under the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR. PGRRI has the nationwide mandate to collect and conserve plant genetic resources in Ghana for the benefit of the present and future generations. These include food crops, industrial crops, ornamental plants, timber species, sweeteners, medicinal plants, and spices. For the excellent execution of their mandate as an institute, management of the PGRRI has organized the activities of the institute under 4 broad areas. These are plant genetic diversity, plant genetic conservation, plant protection, and the commercialization of the institute's activities. Nature has provided plant diversity for their survival in different ecological zones for man's use. Plant diversity is dependent on the variety of habitats. As one moves from the coast inwards, each habitat presents diverse plants. At PGRRI, intense effort is exerted by the staff to collect and characterize plant diversity. Methods used to characterize include agromorphological and molecular. For example, the size of a seed or plant demonstrates diversity. Height and shape provide other means of plant genetic diversity. For example, these seeds exhibit different lengths, shapes, and colors. Plant genetic conservation is very essential, especially in rare species and those near extinction. Against this backdrop, PGRRI engages in various activities to preserve plant species from extinction. The staff of PGRRI travel far and wide throughout the country, sometimes at the peril of their lives, to collect and conserve plant species. Two conservation methods are used: in situ and ex situ. In situ meaning in place. In this method, there is collaboration between the PGRRI and farmers. Farmers, forest reserve operators, sacred grove owners, and the like are encouraged to conserve materials in their fields. Indeed, forest reserves and sacred groves contain a lot of medicinal plants and very rare species which are preserved naturally. Ex situ means out of place, and in this method, plants are taken from their original abode to a different environment. At PGRRI, the germplasm is conserved under cold storage in the field or in vitro. These are mainly orthodox materials, which are those seeds that can be dried and stored at 20 degrees Celsius without deteriorating. These include cereals, legumes, and vegetable seeds. In the field gene bank, materials are conserved in the open field as living plants. These are recalcitrant materials. Their seeds cannot tolerate dehydration. These include coconut, sweet berry, fruit trees, ornamental plants, roots and tuber crops, spices and medicinal plants. One important aspect of conservation is the establishment of an arboretum of 16.5 hectares of land consisting of indigenous and exotic plant species such as tree species, both timber and non-timber, and medicinal plants. The Arboretum is being developed into an ecotourism center for training researchers and for recreational purposes. It has a butterfly sanctuary with unique and rare species including wildlife, bees, snails, and mushrooms. One very scientific and important method of ex situ conservation employed by PGRRI is in vitro or tissue culture. In this technique, plantlets are conserved in test tubes at the laboratory purposefully built for it. All these methods require huge investment, but they pay off in the event of disaster for the benefit of posterity. Plants are bedeviled with diseases and pests. Infection could be in the field as the plants grow or during storage. Pests also attack materials in the natural environment or in gene banks. In each case, the results could be devastating. At PGRRI, plant protection activities are carried out by researchers specially trained to contain each situation. Periodic inspection to ascertain disease or pest infestation is carried out in the field gene bank or on seeds under cold storage, and samples of suspected plants are sent to the laboratory for diagnosis of causal organisms, and a control strategy is put in place. It could be realized that any laxity on the part of these scientists could spell doom for the agricultural sector and subsequently the entire economy of the country. Income generation has become part of the Institute's activities. Commercialization of PGRRI's products and services ensures sustenance of the numerous activities the Institute engages in. Indeed, part of conserved material, especially food crops, need to be sold to farmers for replanting in the field for adaptation after long periods of conservation. Again, research byproducts such as fruits, including rare and exotic types, flower species, budded and grafted planting materials, and a host of others are patronized by most farmers, estate developers, landscapers, and floral enthusiasts. Through commercialization, PGRRI has introduced a lot of lesser-known or non-traditional export plants to farmers for cultivation and diversification of agriculture to increase their income. For example, black pepper, which had hitherto been in the wild, has presently entered the export market, and nutmeg, an indispensable spice in the culinary industry. A lot of foreign exchange went into their importation, but today, PGRRI has supported farmers to produce these essential spices locally, thus saving the nation of valuable hard currency. The introduction of exotic mango species has projected Ghana on the international market. Varieties of citrus support the local beverage industry. Today, a lot of advantages are accrued from the introduction of home gardens. Floriculture has seen an appreciable boost in recent times, and flower export is gaining recognition on the international market. Avocado pear, breadfruit, moringa, bamboo, rambutan, guava, etc. have the potential to improve rural livelihoods, and the list is endless. Currently, PGRRI offers training programs for prospective farmers under its commercialization venture. The Institute also supports MDAs, NGOs such as the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, and researchers in the area of viable agricultural technologies. Ecotourism is fast becoming a major foreign exchange earner in some developing countries, including Ghana. It is interesting to note that PGRRI's Arboretum is emerging as one of the attractive sites in the country. The diverse flora and fauna, including chalets, offer a haven of peace and serenity away from the bustle of the city. The Institute is among those in the forefront of biotechnology development in Ghana. With its state-of-the-art laboratories, vast research fields, well-trained researchers, backed by a group of experienced and dedicated technical staff, it could be safely said that the PGRRI of the CSIR has a very bright future. At present, PGRRI is expanding into new frontiers. In the face of new world developments of climate change with the attendant global warming, the problem of deforestation and drought staring in the face of developing countries, PGRRI is key to Ghana's survival in terms of climate change mitigation and adaptation with its array of plants under conservation. With the support from all stakeholders, continuous patronage of her services by the general public, and the proper remuneration of workers for a good job done, the sky is the limit.